Hello everybody, welcome to this playthrough for Rookie Division with the tournament win for the Spring Major Tournament. The video is sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic, and before we start, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and also visit golfclashtommy.com for more Golf Clash related content. You can get the best text guides on the market by becoming a patron. Link to patreon.com/golfclashtommy is in the description down below. This is going to be both an easy and tough tournament in my opinion. Having lower level clubs here, you are going to have to lay up on every hole and then approach the pin from distance, which is normal. But if you do have a more advanced bag and being able to play with power fireball from time to time, then you will see two holes where you can actually go for green, which would obviously help you get a lower score. So in the end, I will provide you, one route per hole, but also explain different type of routes that you can be doing. Now in the end, use the info box on the right hand side, elevation adjustment for the drive for the second shot, but also what type of club and ball I feel is going to be the best for that specific hole. Also, make sure you hit thumbs up if you like the content. Let's go to hole number one. For hole number one, we're playing with the extra mile, also known as the driver with most of the times the most distance, especially when you play in Rookie Division. 4.5 bar top spin and 2.5 bar side spin to the right, and we're aiming for the second bounce to be just in between the bunkers. Adjust maximum distance with a 10% over adjustment, and once that is done, you push up your target to max. And the reason we push up our target is to prevent us from having to play with overpower. Perfect ball, and you're going to see this ball travel itself down the fairway, and we're going to leave ourselves up with a backbone or like a long iron towards the pin. Why do I play with the Marlin instead of playing with any other type of ball? It's because I do want us to try to not spend our better balls sometimes. That Marlin we get frequently in free chest, and it's always good to be able to play with a ball like that and feel that we're not spending as much when it comes to the tournament. 3 bars of backspin, I'm aiming for the pin, or at least that's the goal. Very hard when the ball guideline is not fully developed. So we have to try to, judge by our eye to see if we are adjusting directly at the pin or not. 10% over adjustment for the second shot. So compared to the other divisions, we're not going to play it 20%. We are going to use 10% as the wind effect will not be that huge with a low type of wind. And also when it comes with an almost a straight tailwind here for the second shot. Perfect ball. I'm going to see this ball bounce on the fairway and take itself up towards the pin and just miss the cup on the left hand side. Good opportunity, but that shot that we play, the second shot, isn't as easy as it looks. For hole number 2, we are going to attempt a rough bump, and we need to play with a Marlin ball here to get ourselves into power 0 range, like meaning that we do have, room to adjust with our sniper. You can play with the sniper or the Viper, doesn't really matter, but obviously the one with the best ball guideline is going to be the best one to go with. Here I would like us to go with the ball guideline to the hole, combined with, the yellow ring completely inside the rough. And now we're going to adjust minimum distance with no elevation. And you're noticing, if you're counting the rings, that I'm adjusting minimum distance with a 10% over adjustment. So we need to change that and play it 0% instead, because the thing that's going to happen is that we are going to come in, we're going to clip the rough nicely, but we're going to come in on the left side of the pin, so we do need less adjustment. And also make sure that the ball guideline go to the hole, not as I had that we had it just before the hole. Very important to have in mind. Why do I suggest a rough bump in Rookie? It's because we are able to hit great left and great right, and we will still clip the rough. The only thing you need to be focused on is to have the wind arrow straight to the north when you pull your rings. If you don't do that, you risk the sand, and also you risk bouncing on the fairway directly. So really pay attention so the wind arrow is completely to north before you pull your rings. For hole number 3, we're going to have one of the better opportunities that there is on a par 5 to get an albatross, meaning all the par 5s in the whole game. And you're gonna notice why in just a bit. First, we're playing with 4.5 bar side spin to the right and 4.5 bar top spin. And we're having the bullseye just there on the fairway with half of the red ring inside the rough to the right. Maximum distance with a 10% over adjustment is what we're going to do. One thing that I would like you to have in mind though, play with a side spin 3 ball if you can. A katana ball would that be. And the reason I want you to do that is based on the fact that the side spin 3 is so valuable for the second shot. Not so much for the drive, as you can see we have no issue getting it over to the fairway, but for the second shot that we're going to look at now, it's going to be extremely valuable if we would be having that side spin. So now I'm using all the left spin possible. I'm also using top spin here. And now I'm trying to catch this funnel, which you can see I'm wiggle left, right, and you notice that the ball guideline doesn't really move from the hole. So this is a massive funnel. That's why this hole makes to be one of the easier par 5s in the whole game, because you can hit great left, great right and still be getting it in without any issues. I'm playing this shot here with my sniper and we're playing minimum distance of our club. No elevation whatsoever, so even if we're not in minimum distance, we are playing it minimum distance of our club. Very important. Also, you can notice that using side spin 3, we don't have to aim as close to the rough line on the left there, so we can actually be more to the center. But, you know, in the end, it's still possible to get it in nicely right at pin for an albatross here with a side spin 2 ball. So, for hole number 4, we are playing with our backbone, and we're going to play with a mauling ball once again, as we don't really need anything else. We're using the fairway above the rough, this to take away the bunker completely from play, because if we're gonna attempt a rough bump, it's gonna be first and foremost extremely difficult with lower level clubs, as we don't have the top spin, or if we do have the top spin, we don't have the ball guideline, which means the bunker is gonna be massively in play. 4 bars of backspin, ball guideline to the hole with a red ring by the rough line with our backbone level 7. And now in this example, I do adjust maximum distance with a 20% over adjustment, but I do want you to play with maximum distance with a 25% over adjustment. The reason for that is because the result here, like we are bouncing nicely on the fairway and we're coming in with a good speed, but we do miss it to the left. So we do need to add more to our adjustment to get that one in the hole. But in my opinion, this is one of the more difficult par 3s here, as we cannot really rely on the ball guideline, and having a bounce with such a high, high traveling in the air, it's going to be difficult to control and get that one consistently. For hole number 5, we come to another par 4 where I must say that we need to get this one. First, take a look at this. If you do have the possibility to play with a power 5 ball, which is a berserker, you can reach to the green in 1. So if you have the possibility to spend a ball like that, combined with having, a decent driver, so especially those of you playing with more advanced setups in rookie, that's going to be the play that I think you're gonna do well, like the best with. Gonna be the simplest way to get an eagle. But for those of us that are not playing with that type of ball, but we are just going to play with a basic ball. Very rarely suggesting a basic ball even in rookie, but we don't need any side spin. Not for the dry, not for the second shot, and we're just going to add as much top spin that we can, bounce on the fairway and gain as much distance possible, maximum distance with a 10% over adjustment. Second shot, we're going to play with the Thorn or the Hornet, depending on what short iron you're having. And we're going to play this one by the fringe, using that as a reference, like meaning that we're going to bounce over the fringe. I'm not using any spin whatsoever here, and I'm putting the ball guideline to the hole, but I'm leaving it short. And the reason why is due to the fact that when we are not having a fully developed ball guideline, and if we aim directly at the hole, we will come in hot. And that will bounce at the pin and go out. So therefore we leave the ball guideline short so we can visualize the ball to roll towards the pin. Now, second shot, I play medium distance with a 10% over adjustment. Basic ball once again, no spin, and the ball bounces, 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 and then roll right at pin for a nice eagle. So you don't have to try to go for green to making an eagle here, and this is what I wanted to display, but I also want to show you how much easier it becomes with a better ball on this hole when you, obviously, if you go to green directly and can pot it for an eagle, that's going to be easier than trying to drop a short iron. For hole number 6, we're going to come to the toughest hole in the tournament, especially from front tee, and also especially for those of you with lower level clubs. Here I play with a power 3 ball and my extra mile, and I want to have as much distance and topspin possible for the drive, and therefore the extra mile is my choice. Those of you playing with the big topper, you can, or like those of you that have the big topper, you can most definitely play with the big topper here and gain a lot of distance. 4.5 bar top spin, 4.5 bar side spin to the right, and we're going to adjust max plus 10, and then we're going to push our club up to max. And here you have a decision to make. Either you make a drive like I did, you know, without any overpower, and you are sometimes going to be a little bit shorter than expected, sometimes you're going to be in a good distance, or either you go and make an overpowered shot and you're going to see yourself getting a bit more distance, but with a bad shot, great left or great right, like a really bad great left or great right, I mean even a good right or a good left, then you will be in the rough or into the sand. Second shot, we are playing with the big dog, and we're going to use the rough bump here to just transportate ourselves down towards the pin. And here I would recommend you to use 5 bars of topspin and 1 bar side spin to the right. But obviously the difficult part with this shot is that we don't really know how the ball guideline looks with our big dog. So use the club that has the most distance. So even if you go long and you might see, I could have reached with the sniper, but please choose the wood club that give you the most distance so you can prevent yourself from having to go with a lot of overpower if you pick the wrong club. Ball comes down here, roll very nicely, but again, as I said, instead of 4 bars of topspin, 5 bars is needed. Maximum distance with a 20% over adjustment. Power 3 ball minimum. If you do have better power balls, it would be very beneficial for you to choose one of those. The last of the par 3s, hole number 7, and we're going to play at the left side there by the fairway, and we are going to try to use a red ring by the rough line. And now it's time to adjust the spin, and I do think that being able to find the landing position here, you do need to adjust the spin and then put yourself by the rough line. We're using 4 backspin, and we're using also 2 bars of side spin to the left. As you can see that the ball guideline is pointing slightly to the right side of the pin, but so the thing that I would recommend here, based on the result as well, is to remove and play only 1.5 to 1.8 side spin to the left instead of the 2 bars of side spin. Obviously details, but that's what we're doing to get these ones to drop, but we are just missing that one on the left. So if we could just reduce the side spin just a little bit, we're gonna see ourselves dropping that one a lot for an hole-in-one. 10% over adjustment, and we are playing medium distance numbers. Hole number 8, we are going to have a chance, even though that this hole is going to be kind of tough. If you do have the possibility to play with a berserker, which is a power 5 ball, then you can actually go for green, or at least close to it. But then you need to go with max overpower, and obviously with a bad shot, with a good left, or like a big great left, or the same on the right, you will go into the rough or into the sand. But if you do make a good shot instead, or like a perfect shot, then you will see yourself be very close to green and then obviously have a better chance for the pin. But if you don't play with a power 5 ball, then the only thing that we can do is to lay up for a short iron, and that is what we're going to do here. Maximum distance with a 10% over adjustment. Use as much topspin that you possible can, and I can use 4.5 bar, but it's not wrong to use, you know, up to max topspin here. And we're looking for a yardage that is going to be around 345 to 350 yards. Second shot, we play with our thorn, and you can see that we are very close to max distance. Look at the ball guideline. If I'm just moving a little bit, left and right, you see that we have a very glitchy spot there that we do want to stay away from. So that's the reason why I'm using side spin to move our target more left, so we're staying away from a spot like that will just hurt us in the long run. 20% over adjustment is what we're going to play here, and maximum distance numbers. 1 backspin and 3 bars of side spin to the right. And here it comes once again to this difficult point where we don't have a fully developed ball guideline. So we need to visualize the ball guideline to the hole, which is very easy to be slightly off. And of course, in this case, we hit a great left, and therefore we missed that one to the left. So it means that we were kind of spot on, but we just need to hit perfect. Good chance on hole number 8. For hole number 9, we're going to play with the quarterback, and even if you do have it in a lower level, you will still be having the distance that is needed, because this hole is very difficult, especially from the front tee. And the reason for that is because we normally don't have that much curl on lower level clubs, but the quarterback is kind of an exception. The thing that we're doing is that we are putting our target by the rough there. Instead of having half of the red ring inside the rough, I would suggest you that you have half of the blue ring inside the rough instead. So you do have some margin from being able to hit, a great right. You can see how close we bounced there. Max side spin right with a side spin 3 ball, and that's also key. Meaning side spin 3 with a katana or a kingmaker is those 2 balls that I would like you to choose between. And here you can see a katana, will suit the purpose. And use as much curl possible, 3 bars of topspin, and then gonna find yourself in a nice position for the rough bump. And here I'm playing with the sniper, as the sniper often has the better ball guideline, and I'm putting the ball guideline slightly before the pin. Like still at the pin, but slightly before the pin, to be able to compensate for the slight wind push we're gonna have with the 2.2 miles per hour in tailwind. 25% over adjustment is what I'm going to play, and it is very important that you do measure what type of club distance you are having. Like sometimes you're going to be in medium distance, sometimes you're going to be in maximum distance. That's why it's very important to pull it out to max and pull it back to minimum, to check approximately where are you in terms of distance. The ball is bouncing into the rough and it rolls nicely down towards the pin for an albatross. Thank you so much everybody for watching this playthrough for Rookie Division with the tournament win. And I'm doing my best here to generalize it, meaning that I'm trying to play with clubs that is generally used here in Rookie. Also making sure that we're not just focusing on playing with the lowest type of club and ball, but also focusing on explaining for higher clubs and better balls, because in the end you can never fit everything in a playthrough. Then we would have to have a playthrough so in like for 2-3 hours of content. And it's very important to have that in mind. If you do have questions of a specific approach, or you have a specific club that you're wondering, you can always email us at tommylofberg@gmail.com, or you can, in that case, comment in the comment section below and I will help you out. Make sure that you get the best guides on the market by subscribing to Patreon. Link to Patreon is also in the description down below. Video sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic. Thank you and good luck in the Spring Major.